council public hearing to order. We pledge of allegiance in a moment of silence. Let's please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. This is a public hearing for Tuesday, August 25th, 2015. Melinda, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Adamo? Mr. Fulkerson?
Here.
Mr. Pinella? Mr. Stefano?
Here.
Mr. Bashir?
Here. Now I'm going to turn the public hearing over to our city solicitor, Mr. Medor.
Thank you. This hearing is being recorded. My name is Jason Medor. I'm the solicitor for the city of Newcastle, and this is the time and place set for a conditional use request by Nessa Wilson and Wilson Proprietary Management, Angeles Therapeutic Services, Inc., for professional counseling office at 143 East Wallace Avenue, located in the R2 medium density residential district of the 2nd Ward. Application was made on June 24th, 2015. The owner of the property is Joseph Castillo. The applicant is Nessa Wilson. This is section 29 in the 2nd Ward, lot number 244 and 245 with the street address of 143 East Wallace Avenue. This is a R2 medium density residential district. It is a 1,600 square foot, 1-floor building with 14 parking area spaces. The specific use desired is a professional counseling office by Angeles Therapeutic Services to rent and occupy space with Nessa Wilson as the president. The use is defined as a professional office in the Newcastle zoning ordinance of 2009. Do we have the planning commission resolution?
The only thing I have was the...
Attached to the application is the general information regarding the property site, along with a sales history, Howard Hanna Real Estate Services, photograph, slideshow, Google Map indication of the location of the property, and a lot map. The documents will be collectively referred to as Exhibit 1. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant representative will come forward, identify him or herself, and provide council administration with a brief synopsis of the desired conditional use. After the applicant has the opportunity to speak, council administration will have the opportunity to ask any questions or give any comments. Following council administration's questions and comments, the public will also have the opportunity to give comments. So if we could please have the applicant come forward and identify him or herself. Let's note for the record that the Planning Commission did hear the conditional use request prior to this public hearing.
Yeah, right there.
An advisory decision was made and will also be made part of the record once the solicitor's office is in possession of said document. Thanks.
Hi, I've done this before, but I run a
Your name.
I'm sorry. My name is Nessa Wilson. I run Angeles Therapeutic Services, a small private practice for behavioral mental health clients in a private practice setting. Presently on Highland Avenue, would like to move into the 143 East Wallace Avenue address as a professional office for children, adolescents, and adults.
Nessa, how many employees will be working in here?
There are 7 of us total.
Is that 7 all working at one time, or?
No, no. Everybody is different levels of part-time. 6 of which would actually provide counseling out of the office. the other which is in our Laurel School District location. There are presently, I believe, 4 rooms, offices in there, and a kitchen. We're going to turn the kitchen into an office, so it'll just have 5 therapy offices. So it wouldn't be any more than that at one time.
So you, at most, you will have 5 counseling sessions going on at one time?
Yes.
So conceivably, you're gonna have a maximum of 5 patients at one time?
Yes.
And how long do the therapy sessions last?
45 minutes to an hour, depending on what the need is.
What do you anticipate for office hours?
Right now, we tend to work usually no later than 7:30 during the week and Saturday mornings.
Besides changing the kitchen into another office, do you need to make any other types of accommodations, rehab, anything like that to the property?
Other than adding a little bit of a ramp to the initial step up going in the building to make it handicapped accessible, I think that's the only alteration I needed to make.
Okay. Any other questions from council?
How many parking spaces are there right now?
I was corrected by the present owners that I had put down 14. He said he's had as much as 21 there when he's had events
Okay,
from the
so-
cathedral coming over.
You don't see a problem with parking?
No, that's why I like the location.
Okay, no, I'm just asking a question before
Yes.
someone brings it up to us, that's all.
Yes,
So,
I
yeah,
put down the wrong number, so that was brought up at the planning. I had written 14 because that's what I was told, but he says he has
Okay.
done events where there's 21 spots
Okay.
there.
I have no problem with it.
Is there, why we didn't get the planning commission report? I hate to see this get held up any longer.
I'll be able to get my hands on the planning commission report tomorrow, but, once again, planning commission report is an advisory opinion, whether approved or denied. Do you recall going to the planning commission?
Yes.
Do you recall whether it was approved or denied by the planning commission?
They had said it was unanimous approved, but that it was only a recommendation and we would come to this
Right.
to have a final
Okay.
decision.
Thursday?
Yeah, we could have this on Thursday to vote.
Yeah.
We'll vote on this Thursday, and that's how, you don't have to be here.
Okay.
And before we close the record, is there any questions or comments from the public? Seeing none. Anything else from administration? Okay. Thank you. So we will be taking a vote on this on Thursday.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
This record is closed.
Hey, Mr. Rice on here, how many properties is he buying altogether? Yeah, I know that, just 4, right? Is he here tonight?
Mayor. Fish one.
Do you want to do your report first? You want to report? It's on here.
I know, I'm sorry.
It's there's sheets on right outside the front door.
Oh, okay.
No. CC Johnny, to move the things. Yeah, it only happened 4 years ago. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. This is City Council Caucus meeting for Tuesday, October 25th, 2015. Belinda, call the roll, please. August.
Mr. Adamo?
Here.
Mr. Fulkerson?
Here.
Mr. Stefano?
Here.
Mr. Pennella? Mr. Bashir?
Here. Before we get started, I have we're gonna change number 15, executive session, we're gonna add on, feral cats. And number 16 will be executive session. So right now, we have 2 public comments, and you have 3 minutes to speak. And as I call your name, you list your name and your address, and you may speak. And the first to speak is Susan Papa.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I'm here to address the proposed feral cat ordinance, and I'm speaking as a one, owner of property within the city, and 2, as president of Promises for Pets. As an owner of property within the city limits and an owner of a business within the city limits, I query why council would take the time, energy, attention, and effort to address what is being deemed a feral cat problem when the city is mired with enormous, substantial issues that need the attention of our city officials. Second, as the president of Promises for Pets, I would like to make note to council that I believe the proposed ordinance is going to address persons who feed animals or those who have them on their property. If I'm wrong, I'd like to be corrected. If I'm right, I want to,
Tim, shut that off. I'm unaware of any ordinance that we are proposing.
okay, I was advised there was a proposal for a feral cat ordinance. And what did you say was item number 15?
But that's just for discussion. I have no idea.
Okay.
I mean,
So I'm here for discussive purposes, okay. I apologize, I thought
no,
you
that's
were
okay. I'm unaware of any ordinance that being proposed or even put together.
Then you're just doing this for discussive purposes?
Yes.
Very well, thank you. I stand corrected. Did you have to go back one?
Will you?
Since there's no ordinance in the making, I do want to state to council that I'm very aware that there's been a lot addressed toward persons who feed cats or have stray cats on their property. I just want to make note that there's a field of research, experts beyond my capacity in the field of animal advocacy and curing problems of a complex nature. And any article you read or any research or any statistics show that that is not the way to address the feral cat problem by focusing on those persons who feed animals or, as some experts say, colonize animals. The main way to do it is trap, neuter, return. I do believe that we have members of the public here who work diligently and tirelessly with respect to trap, neuter, return. And I would only ask council to invite the presidents of the local animal organizations, myself, Promises for Pets, Lawrence County ARF, and the Humane Society, and we would gladly get involved in some capacity to help address this problem. But an ordinance that addresses those who are humane and kind people, I do believe would be misguided.
Yeah. Well, if you want to stay around, Ms. Paper, we're going to discuss it as we go down the agenda.
Okay.
But I don't know who told you that or why they told you that.
But it is an item being discussed by council?
Yes,
Okay.
but not tonight. I mean, we haven't even thought of an ordinance or anything like that, or to punish anybody. So.
All right, great. Well, I still extend the invitation from the 3 animal organizations, and I know they're all represented here. Okay, thank you.
Next is Wendy Marie Stafford.
Was this Facebook thing?
My name's Wendy Stafford. It's gonna be short and sweet, I guess. We were told otherwise, that you guys were planning an ordinance against people to feed cats. I'm the vice president of Lawrence County Animal Relief Fund. We do have $3,000 in the general fund from the city to fix feral cats this year, and we fixed 62 already in the city. And, I'm sorry, is that better?
Yeah, we can't hear it and they won't be able to hear it when they type it out. Thank you.
And we fixed 62 cats within the city limits. We've taken about 27 kittens into Pittsburgh cat adoption team. So we are working on the problem. That's what I wanted to say.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Who started this? Because this council and this administration, before we pass an ordinance, we discuss it thoroughly, and our solicitor will then advise us of an ordinance when he's ready to write the ordinance.
Right.
I don't know who put this information out there, but we're not even ready to put an ordinance together, or we're just in the infant stages of possibly looking at it. So somebody is out there saying stuff that isn't the truth.
Right.
If I can say that. So is this a Facebook thing? Is this a Twitter thing? Because really, I'm not trying to, but we're not even ready for an ordinance yet.
Right. I was contacted by our president of the organization, and she was unable to make it, so she asked me to come. But where it came from, I can't say.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay, no problem.
All right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Next up is department headquarter reports, and I see that, we'll start with the financial report. Would that be you, Stephanie? And does anybody have any questions?
Where's the money? You know I'm gonna agitate you. Come on. Lighten up.
I have one. Why is the refuse department, the overtime, why is it over already?
The reason why that's over is because we only budget for holiday pay for overtime for the garbage department, but this year, for the first time, we're actually incurring overtime for recycling because they're doing double routes. It's taking them longer on Thursday evenings. So, 1 to 2 hours for each person in that department is what's causing it. I mean, we'll have to adjust the budget.
Called the administration and said they're not coming?
No, and when they call me and tell me, and nobody did this time, by the way, I always tell them that they have to notify city council, not me. I send out the announcement, so the ones that are here got it.
I understand that, and I thank the ones that are here immensely for coming and participating and answering our questions. Go ahead, Josh, I'm sorry.
Just a little bit about the golf course. It is doing better this second quarter. Play is up significantly. We've had better play than last year every month except June. And as you all know, June was pretty much a washout. We are, if you look at the numbers, backing out when we were paying for 2 greenskeepers, taking that into account, our cash balance is roughly $12,000. Last year at this time, it was $8,700. So we're about almost $5,000 more than last year.
Good.
We'll have as you know, the cart expense will go away next year for the leasing. When that agreement expires, we still might have to enter into an agreement for the private cart leases that we get. Like if we don't have enough carts, I would probably suggest maybe trying to lock them in a price for 3 years so they don't change it every year and we don't know what that price changes. But that will go away. Not all of it, because you'll still have to order some, but I would say probably between $15,000 and $18,000 less in expense starting next year when that lease goes away. Other than that, memberships were down again, but the register play has covered some of that loss. And this month is just another month we're ahead of last year already. We're already ahead of last year's month. We were ahead of it 3 days ago, and we still have 9 days left in the month. So we're going to exceed last year's August.
Parking authority, how are we doing there? That's yours, right?
Parking's going well. If you notice, we're down. We're trying not to write as many tickets downtown. We're trying a new approach. We're letting a lot of people, if we catch them coming out, we're just letting them put the money in. We're not giving the ticket. Monthly parking, the spaces are pretty much all full except for the garage. Everything's steady there. We've had some new businesses come in downtown that have gotten passes, and we're in the process. I know you guys approved us that passport parking app. I'm working with that company. We're in the process of getting all our zones and everything entered. We've had some test runs on their website, and hopefully that should be up and running within the next 2 to 3 weeks. And I'll have more information to hand out downtown with the businesses as far as how they can go about validating their customers parking and things like that. I know Matt let me know I'm gonna be at the next Downtown Business Association meeting on September 8th. So hopefully I have some stuff from Passport at that time that I can pass out to the downtown merchants that are available. So I try to get them on the, but you know what I mean, in line with how it's gonna work, and hopefully get people using it.
How's your part-timers working out?
Part-timers are working good. Having 2 guys, we're saving on a lot of costs. They're both working out well, and when one's on vacation this week, so the other guy's picking up some extra time, so whenever one's off, one guy picks up the time, but the Capitol Grill lot and the Temple lot, we had an issue there. I don't know if you guys are aware, there was a gas tank in the Temple lot,
Yes.
so that really threw us behind schedule.
Have they brought that up? Have they taken that out yet?
It's out, the dirt's at Public Works, they're supposedly gonna be starting here within the next week. I guess, yeah, Luke was, Graziani was on vacation, yeah.
Friday they're gonna do it.
This Friday,
They're
okay.
gonna try
I know
to-
they started, yesterday they started actually core drilling the holes for the new meters in those lots. They should have those up and running. I know it's been a big inconvenience to businesses downtown, especially the Capitol Grill. And I know the Hazel's Restaurant, a lot of them have complained, but we didn't know there was gas tanks under there.
No.
So there's nothing, you know, I mean, it's right next to DEP's building, so there's not much you can do. There's not much you can do there. We had to go through the certain processes to wait for that soil test to come back and all that stuff, so they should be starting that within the next week. Hopefully, we get that lot open here by mid-September. I'm at the latest, hopefully they can get back on.
Anybody else? Any questions? Thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You're up, Matt.
All right.
Good evening.
Good evening to you.
Thank you. So what questions do you all have?
Any questions for Matt?
Productivity's up, grant dollars have been flowing in, so I'm pleased overall, and I hope you all are pleased too. We are down 2 officers right now just due to injury, but again, we've had been increasing our productivity in the code enforcement department, so things are on the up and up. Thanks to a lot of teamwork, working with the fire chief as well as all the other departments. It's been a very nice quarter in terms of grant dollars, bringing money in, so overall I'm very pleased. I hope you all took part too.
I'm gonna hit my favorite sore spot. Blighted properties. Board-Narrow building. And we've been that way for almost a year. And I know we're working on it. Have we gotten anywhere at all with it?
I'll actually refer to the solicitor a bit on this because we have been working with the property owner to see if they could convey the property. That way it will not cost the city and taxpayers money to raise that property.
I did give code enforcement a stay to let the property owner do that, but I also informed them that the length of time has gone on too long to work with the bankruptcy court, so we need to continue. And I explained that last month, that we need to we can't wait for them to come up with some other change, so.
Well,
So as far as from the solicitor's office is concerned, it's a building that we still have to go through the recognition process, unfortunately.
So we're gonna be responsible for the cost then,
Yes.
when it all breaks down to it. That's a shame. But I appreciate you guys moving forward with it. Other than that, that's all the questions I have.
Matt, I have a question about the email we got today about the demolition partnership with the county.
Sure.
And how it benefits us, because it seems like the word may is in there a lot, but they may help or they may not help. So how is this gonna benefit us?
Let me just back up a little bit with the history.
Jonathan, I'm sorry, Matt.
Jonathan drafted the ordinance.
Okay.
It's based upon, a while back, he met with the county they had approached the department about administering demolitions, both here in the city as well as outside, because we're frankly the most experienced in the entire county when it comes to demolition. From that, obviously, we turned to our solicitors to review the legality of it to ensure that we're protected, and I can turn it over to Jonathan, who did draft the language.
With regard to any county properties that are given to the city for demolition, they will pay for those. That's spelled out in the agreement and the ordinance.
Okay.
As
So
far
maybe
as-
that's where I was getting confused, because it looked like
Yeah.
only when we ran out of money would they step in. So any county-owned property, they will pay for it.
they submit a county-owned property to the city on our demo list, they will pay for all costs associated. They may have additional funds to give to the city for our own demos down the road, but that's not, there's no guarantee of that. We're hoping.
So, okay, so we'll be demoing their property, but they'll be paying for
We'll
it.
be paying for it.
So they won't be paying for any city-owned that we have to demo.
Unless, there may be county-owned properties within the city.
That's what I mean.
They'll pay for that,
Okay.
if they're having us demo it.
It's a win-win in my opinion. I think it just makes sense. It really helps the taxpayers and the city in terms of, you know, a lot of these properties that they want to demo are right here within the city boundaries, so it's a win-win in my opinion.
Anybody else?
Can I ask a question?
Yes?
Under code, and I know that this could possibly be personnel, but, I mean, the names are listed in here publicly, and I just would like to know why, like, under property maintenance activity, there's such a large discrepancy. I mean, you have an officer doing 1,000,
I see it's almost
and you have
double what
another
they-
officer doing, like, just a little over 200. Keep going down a little bit more, and you have citations. You have an officer that issued 0 citations in 3 months. 0.
That's correct.
0.
I agree with you. And we've had numerous meetings to discuss that as well as with the administration.
To put that out there, though, I mean, I think that goes back to blight. I mean,
And what district would that be in?
That would be the east side. I 100% agree with you.
and this isn't, you
No.
know, this is just for conversation, because as we talk about blight, you look at these numbers, when you have those numbers are that low, then you have areas of the city that aren't being touched, which is a problem.
Now, and you do have to remember, I mean, there's certain areas that are obviously more dense than others in terms of population, but you're
Sure,
right. I agree 100% with what you're saying.
1,000 on one and 0 on the other.
No, not quite that bad. 1,000 would be for one, and the lowest, the highest, one person did 1,000, the lowest person did 227. That's a big difference.
And that's one thing, you know, as we're continuing to track the performance of the department, this is something new that we've been putting into the quarterly report. As actually the property maintenance is the first time we've done this piece of it to really show even the officers the reality of how they actually are performing in their respective.
I guess maybe we should take this as a glass half full, but I find that, I mean, I'm gonna be skeptical of 227 properties, they were all good.
I said the exact same thing. I questioned, that was the exact question I had come out of my
So
mouth.
since their names are out, is there anything we can't say? I mean, I'd like to know what his response was.
You can ask him
What was his response?
His response was that he has a different approach towards his zone where he just goes up and speaks with the individual. And as you mentioned, based upon that, he's telling me that 100% of his violations have gone into compliance. That's impossible. Absolutely impossible. I echo and agree 100% with what you're saying. 100%.
That's all from a conversation, it goes to 100%.
Exactly, and the other part that I had an issue with is when he's having these quote conversations. It's not being documented into the system, which then is also reflective of the property maintenance number.
Is this all being noted and written down?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I guess the whole reason why I brought it up is because Matt is down 2 officers. This officer is not one that he's down. So we only have 3 people right now covering
Right.
the
Correct.
entire city, and then one of those 3 people did 227 in an entire quarter. That's not good.
Well, and let me add this too, the code foreman who has a number of other responsibilities on top of just property maintenance and inspections, I mean, he produced 664
He
property
did 3
maintenance.
times as much.
Correct.
3 times as much, and doesn't even have an assigned area.
Correct. I wholeheartedly 100% agree. The question you asked, I asked him point blank.
Well, I think further discussion on
We can
this should be talked in executive session.
That's fine.
Absolutely.
I just wanted the record to note it because it does have an impact on life.
And again, that's why we put it into the quarterly report to start
yeah, your numbers don't lie,
to
Matt.
show the officers,
That's right.
you know, here's the reality of how you're performing out there, again, as you address blight.
Well, that's why I wish that all department heads would have shown up tonight, because I know that a couple of us council members had some questions to address to the Public Works, Park and Recreation.
Well, I agree with you, Tim, and I will say this, I mean, Matt's here, Josh is here, Chief Manella's here, City Council's here, the administration is here, and there's no reason for these guys to miss and then not even inform us. I know sometimes we don't ask them any questions, and I get that, and I understand that, but it won't kill you to be here, okay? You make a nice buck from the city, and we're your best friends come budget time. So, I'm not asking, I'm demanding that all department heads be here at the next, report. Now, it's uncalled for and it's unacceptable.
You know, there's a number of issues that we've dealt with this summer that we have to talk about. You're right. We can't address them.
I mean, if there are things I can try, I mean, if there are things you think that I can answer, I can try.
No,
It's
they're not your responsibility.
You shouldn't have to do that.
You know,
You shouldn't have.
and they're not the mayor's responsibility either, okay? They're the department heads, and this is not a slam against the mayor either. I don't want anyone to think that we're picking on the mayor.
You're right.
The department heads need to be here, they need to answer questions, and, I know it's been a long, hard summer on everybody, and, we had questions.
You guys have enough on your plate.
Yeah,
And I think I speak for all council, we're not gonna come here and ask you to answer about their department.
I would concur with that, Richard.
Anything else for the department heads? Moving on, planning commission reports. He's not here. No.
That's what I said, they did.
Was this the city planning commission recommending approval of conditional use request of Human Services Center for a mixed use offices, apartments, daycare, retail at 3 East Washington Street in the C2 Central Business District of the First Ward. So we have to reschedule that.
Okay, right. Yeah, that's September 8th at 6:15.
All right, so we'll have a public hearing on September 8th at 6:15.
Now, is that the building on the diamond, am I correct?
Yes.
Okay.
First one, the Holiday Vacation.
Oh, I'm sorry, and then the city planning commission recommending approval of land development plan of Ben Weitzman and Son.
Right.
You want to do that the same day?
Well, no, we don't need to do anything.
Okay.
We can actually vote on that
We can vote on that Thursday?
this Thursday, and then there was an email that everyone got.
Right.
50-some pages.
Sure. Yeah, we didn't read all. They just want to make their building bigger. Right.
Yeah.
And they're doing a lot of work down there.
Have you seen, Council President, I don't know if the general public has noticed.
I'm only acting president for this.
Well,
weekend.
tonight we'll call you president, okay? See? Like that, you're the president. But, the Weitzman Company, I know there was a lot of complaint when the former city council approved this, and then Mr. Adamo, Paul, and I came along after that, and, what they're doing to that site down there is just unbelievable. Removing all the garbage out of that bottom layer of land in that, it's just unreal. And I think the mayor and the former council people should be applauded for making that decision to bring that type of company to the city of Newcastle. So my hat's off to you gentlemen, and I wish this company all the best luck in the world, because they are spending some serious money down there. So we move forward with
We
it.
act on number 3 also.
Okay, well, number 1 is that elevator.
Oh, I missed that one, I'm sorry. It says city planning commission recommending approval of the petition of James C. Burke and Alice Burke to vacate an open alley between Canyon Street and an open alley on section 27 in the map of the city of Newcastle.
Okay, so this one, all she has to do is advertise, and then we'll vote on that September 10th.
Okay.
When will we vote on Weitzman's? This week?
Yes.
Okay, good enough. Thank you.
In receipt of proposals, the consultant for the home program, there was a memo. I don't have it. There it is.
I got the memo on the page.
Just have the memo, this proposal for contract number 2015-11 home program consultant will be received and opened at the August 27th meeting. Then we have repository properties. We have Geraldine Anderson. We also have Kenneth Rice, who's proposing 4 vacant lots. And I think that's it, right, for now?
Yeah. She wrote a letter, as you can see in her proposal package.
Right. And Mr. Rice, he was very detailed too in his plans for his vacant lots.
That's the one.
I have no problem supporting either one of them.
Me either. I agree. Anthony? Fire station number 7 renovations.
That is Stephanie's.
This would be.
Oh wait, this one's actually Matt's or Tammy's. I think the gist of it is, the awards, or the bids that we received, last meeting were all too high. We don't have enough funds to cover that. So I think the recommendation would be to reject the bids and authorize us to rebid, but for separate projects, to try to keep the price, lower, and if we can only do 2 or 3 of them, so be it. But obviously bidding every single project out as one was too expensive, so.
So we just put this on the vote down on Thursday?
Yes.
Okay.
And then, Melinda, we
Then
need
go out for
authorization
rebid.
to rebid as well.
You wanna put that on there for the authorization to rebid
Please,
too?
yes.
Okay. 2015 capital improvement funds?
This is mine also. This would be in the capital improvement funds, we had 25,000 for, the replacement of man doors for both fire stations. The work was done. It was under the, public bidding threshold, so Mark just got 3 written quotes. And it was for $18,390, so that leaves a balance of $66,10. So with that money, there's a few other small things you see there that he can get done, before the end of the year. But in order to do that, we would need a resolution approving, the use of these funds for this purpose.
Is the work completed?
For the doors?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. The alarm system at Cascade Park?
This is mine
Do we need to pass a resolution this coming Thursday?
Yes.
Are you gonna draft one for us to vote on that?
Elaine already has one drafted.
Okay, I didn't see it. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. The alarm system at Cascade Park, this was also in the 2015 operating budget. This wasn't capital, and this was a recommendation from the insurance company when the risk assessor came in and did a full risk assessment of city property. They recommended that we have a security system there. The biggest reason is because it is a revenue generator for the city, and we also have put, a significant amount of money into that building. So we received 3 quotes. It was under the public bidding threshold, so I gave a copy, I believe, of everything we got. The low bid was the 9,661.4. We had 9,000 budgeted, so the 661.40 is just gonna come out of grounds maintenance to pay the difference. But, in order to have the system, we need to have the agreement to monitor the system. So, ProTech is $45 a month. That can come out of the park maintenance equipment line item. But I'll need a resolution so the mayor can sign the monthly monitoring rate, and then we'll just budget for that annually.
Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Good. Moving right along. Contract 2015-04 change order, which looks like we're gonna save $2,400.
Yep, this would be a deduct. This is gonna be for the picnic shelter renovations and then the rebuild at Cascade. So this is final, the work is done, and the materials came in $2,400 under budget.
Great.
Great. So we have ordinances on the table. CB 2015-27, placing stop signs on North Scott Street at the intersection with Ash Street, and CB 2015-28, extending the maturity date of the city's 2013 note to First National Bank for RCAP grant bridge financing. We back on those Thursday, Melinda? Everybody good with that? Yes.
Yep.
Number 10? Well, we talked about that with Matt, the city county
Yeah.
demolition.
The proposed ordinance is ready that we can introduce it Thursday.
Okay, all right.
All should receive it by email.
all right. Good. Traffic rules memo. It says, Mr. Fagan was contacted by Louis Toscano, who lives at 314 Burger Place. He's disabled and has a valid handicap placard. A handicap sign is being requested in front of his residence. A handicap sign will greatly improve access for Mr. Toscano. I don't have a problem. I think we're all good with that, huh?
No problem.
And also, a handicap sign has been requested by Mary Ann Villani for her residence at 507 West Madison Avenue. She has a valid handicap placard also. I think we're all good with that, correct?
Yes.
This is the mayor's of 2015 paving. Go ahead, sir.
About a week ago, we were notified by the gas company that they are gonna put a gas line in, it's gonna be tunneled in on Hillscroft, going from Highland Avenue all the way to Mercer Street. They've asked us could we postpone that particular work that we have, we were gonna do this particular year until the summer of 2016. In return, they will contribute $43,890 plus a 5% pave Hazelcroft next year, and that's all of Hazelcroft. Right now, it's costing us about $73,000. It would have cost about $73,000 to pave Hazelcroft just for two streets. In this place with the $73,000, we'd like to allocate, and East Coast has agreed to this, to pave Ray Street from East Washington Street to Butler Avenue and beyond. We have a problem on Ray Street on that light because we need to put a loop sensor in. A loop sensor has to go under the asphalt. And when you have a low volume of cars on one side of the street, but a high volume on another street like Butler Avenue, that light can stay on to go into Butler Avenue until some cars come on Ray Street. It'll sense it and it'll make a change in the red light. So we're asking that we're staying within our budget of $524,695. We want to use Ray Street in addition to replace Hazelcroft. That's basically what it is.
When they say all Hazelcroft, just both sides or just the whole part of the
Hazelcroft
left?
from Highland to Carlisle. But next summer, with 43,000, we're going to do the whole thing.
Okay.
Going from Highland Avenue all the way to Mercer Street, because they're going to do the whole. They're going to put a ton of the whole area.
Well, you know,
Just like you could have.
right, somebody's always going to be upset, but I think,
know.
you know, it'd be ridiculous to pave it and then have it get torn up. So
That's the thing.
hopefully they'll understand.
Ray Street was on the agenda, but we didn't have enough money. Now we can probably do it. And we'll go as far as we can go with the 73,000.
So will we be doing the lower Ray Street with that, Mayor? Down by the school? By Lockley? Are we gonna, on Ray Street?
No.
No, so
We'll
we're,
start from East Washington to Butler Avenue and beyond. And we'll go as far as we can go with the 73,000.
okay.
I mean, that's the best we can do right now.
No, it's better than nothing. It needs it. I'm not disagreeing with you. I
Right.
just wondered, we'll have to get those guys to really stretch that 73,000.
Well, yes, sure.
Paul, good? Anthony?
We can just change order now.
Are they ready to do this change order right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
But they got-
Yeah.
Thursday?
They'll be-
That'll be on the agenda Thursday.
They'll be all right in a couple weeks, maybe.
Chief Salem is here if anybody has any questions for him.
Hi, Bobby.
Sorry, mate.
How's your bike patrol going, by the way? I see them down there. Are you happy with it?
Very happy.
Bobby, come up here.
Sorry for the
No, it's all right.
outfit.
I asked you the question, how's the bike patrol going?
It's going well. It's going well. The officers are trying to hit some other areas besides downtown, some problem areas at night with them, and so far it's going well.
Well, I like it.
Me too.
No, seriously, I like how you guys go through the back alleys of downtown and dispersing people that like to hang out and, as I say, brown bag it. And they do move them. And tell your officers to keep up the good work.
I will.
Okay?
Anybody else? No. Okay. Thank you. We're gonna discuss the cats first, Mayor, if that's okay. Then we'll get to your report. And I don't know where you, Ms. Paper, where you got that information. We're just gonna discuss it tonight. I mean, there is a huge problem. And I would have to say that any ordinance we have would not punish anybody for feeding cats or anything like that. And I would appreciate, sure, for you to come and Wendy and whoever else could come to give us some ideas. I mean, I don't want what was going on Facebook a few months ago. We're not out to poison cats or anything. And yes, we do have a lot on our plate. But I always say, you know, there's a list of 1 to 100, whether it's number 1 or number 100. Number 100 is important to somebody. And we can't just let it go. I mean, we do need to address things. But I appreciate you guys coming in, and I don't know where you got that information at. But we could put this on discussion. It'll be September 22nd, because we have a couple presentations, I believe, September 8th. So if you guys want to come back September 22nd, and we can discuss.
Yeah, we'll be happy to.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
I'd like to say,
Sure.
I'm one of those individuals, my wife and I, who feed cats outside.
I'd have done that ahead of time.
I just can't afford to let these cats go without eating. And they're friendly enough, and I have 4 cats in the house to begin with, so. The city does, I do have a fund for trap, neuter, and release. You understand though, in this kind of a program, I've used it twice. We probably had 6 cats trapped and released, but they have to be released where they originate from. It's a good program, and Marilyn Caucus is the one who's been actually spearheading it. I also talked to Susan Paper because she gives out, promised her $50 per surgery for the cat. And I've done a couple up at the hospital there. So I would be opposed to any type of a ordinance that says stop feeding cats.
No,
I'm just saying,
right.
I would oppose that. But I think there might be some way you can work something out, but I think our program is working. We still have $3,000 in our budget. And that's all I have to say at this point.
Ms. Paper, can you come up here 1 second so you don't have to yell? I have a question. The trap and release, do you do that, or do the people in the neighborhood have to do that? Because what I'm asking is if they have to be, once they're trapped and then they're released again, they have to be released where you trapped them at.
The mayor's exactly right.
Okay, so one word is if somebody traps them and takes them, then they don't release them where they were released at, what would happen?
They actually colonize back to the place
Okay,
and return there.
to prevent no harming, they wouldn't,
No,
okay.
Right,
All
right.
right.
we have special cages. And Pinocchio here, they get them in there. Once they're caught, the mayor will pick them up, keep them overnight at her place and take them to Pittsburgh.
Okay, so the property owner is responsible for
help.
trapping them, right,
We help.
but I mean,
Right.
Right.
we provide the cages,
Yes, we bought
Yes,
those cages
okay.
last year.
and then Maryland will pick them up.
Exactly.
Okay,
And Maryland works really hard on it, yeah.
okay, all right.
But I guess if a cat should then stray away from the area to which it should have been returned, What they're saying is that other cats come in to colonize that area anyway. So trap, neuter, return is still the most efficacious method, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Anybody else?
Thanks, Mayor.
All right, Mayor, you're up. U.S. Army Corps of Engineer report.
Yes, I do. We have passed out a letter requesting assistance under a program called Planning Assistance to States under Section 22. Back in August the 4th, we met with two members from the Army Corps of Engineers along with our staff. We met for about 3 hours. We discussed all the programs that we are concerned about, and we also did a site visit down on the south side by Carl Street, Big Run, and Pennsylvania Avenue. And I was instructed to send this letter to this Lena Hawkins, who's in charge of this area. By the way, Army Corps of Engineers is not just in Pennsylvania, it's also in Ohio too. They have a number of areas that they are responsible for. But I share with you the responsibility of this type of a program. It's for a model, and they can put a model in a computer, because we don't know where that water is coming from, for instance. I mean, we're only 2 blocks away from Shenango, and that water's coming down from that area. We have water coming down from Gaston Park into Cascade Park. It's coming down that way too. We're still having problems with the water coming down from Cascade and Gaston Park. Last week when it rained really hard, we had to rent a excavator, a machine, to pick up all the debris because it's flowing right into the pipe again. Another problem that we have is that our vector is basically it's busted. So we have to invest in another vector, because how to maintain this, the pipes and everything, that's what we have to do. So we have a proposal. It's not cheap, it's like $418,000. But we can spread the payments out over a 7 to 10 year period. But this will give us a more permanent idea of what we can do. For instance, give you an idea that I think, but I'm not an engineer, where some of that water is coming from. Many years ago, we had a lake in Cascade Park. And that many years ago, several years ago, the dam broke. It was never fixed. That used to be a holding pond. It wasn't that very deep, it was a holding pond. And I feel anyway that that water is coming down from that area down to where we are having a problem on Carl Street. That's just one idea. There might be some runoffs from Shenango area and some other places. This particular program will identify where that water is coming from. But you have to understand one thing. There's the studies could range anywhere from $25,000 to $100,000. We have to have matching money. In other words, if it's $100,000, we have to match it by $50,000. So we have to have some money someplace to match that cost. That's how we would participate in this. So we have the ball rolling by sending the letter. They seem to like the idea, and they seem to that they can help us out. There are two other programs that we had asked for, but unfortunately, they're not in a position to acknowledge that. One is Section 205, flood damage reduction, and another one is sorry, I don't have it here. Anyway, there's two, but they kind of dismiss that. They just want to do Section 22. That's what we're looking at. I'm just giving you some ideas where we are with it.
They went down there and I'll start with Coral Street first, up into Gaston Park. They don't think putting up a barricade again will work. A lot of that water is coming down from the east side through Cascade Park. When those barricades were up, it seemed it worked.
We have one barricade that's basically temporary though, and it actually worked. The last time it rained, that debris did not go into the pipeline. It went right where that barricade was, and we had to clean that all out though. But it does work. And that might be one, even on a temporary basis, to fix that up. but that's not permanent, it's not a permanent fix.
No, I
You
understand that.
understand, yeah, but you're right though, that could help it.
And how about with, I'm sorry, one more thing.
No,
The
go right
contact
ahead,
with
listen.
CSX and the hillside on Pennsylvania Avenue. Anything, or
On what?
on Pennsylvania Avenue, the hillside, the railroad tracks, CSX, are they gonna take care of any of that, or is that gonna be on us?
It's not to be on us, we own that property. That's a question that we have to wait, to find out what this program has to say. I don't
Now,
think-
how long before we hear anything about this? I mean, how many more rainstorms?
I don't know.
Well, my question is, I know, when all of the, devastation happened to the, Pennsylvania Avenue, that whole lower south side that is caused by multiple issues, and you eloquently stated those issues, Mr. Mayor. Would this council and administration be looking at in the near future a bond initiative for stormwater acclimation, fixing the things that we need to do to have money not only to match if we need to, but also a bond initiative that would help us with that, but also with street paving in the future?
Jimmy, that's a real possibility, but I think it's premature at the present time. What I did do, though, we have a home rehabilitation program in the city. I recently received a letter from the state. We qualify for another $300,000 for that home rehab, home improvement. We still have $200,000 from last year, and the average is, we have about 30 residents who have applied for that. What we have done now, we're asking the state to approve a third target area. Our one target area is up in the North Hill, Lower East Side, and also on the North Hill. We want to have another target area, which has not been approved yet, which is down by Carl Street and up in the area where the pipeline is located, and all the way down Pennsylvania Avenue. We have not received that approval yet, but this will, if we do receive that approval, then we can offer the residents that whole area whether or not this is not money that we will pay them for costs that they've already incurred. This is new monies, and there's some qualifications for this program. For instance, they must live in Newcastle, they must have home ownership, and they must own the home, and they provide a copy of the deed. Homeowners insurance is required, but city may waive that requirement. We have to know that the property taxes are paid each year in full, and the sewer paid up to date. Now there's some income limits. Give you some idea, for a household of two people is $37,850. That would be the limit for two people.
You have to be under that.
You have to be under that. Now it goes up if you have more people that live there. Well, you're worth that. It's kind of on a first come, first served basis. We could give them, each individual that qualifies would be able to have a grant of $20,000. Say if they go in there and they say it's gonna cost $25,000, well, maybe go higher than that, $30,000. We will still contribute the $20,000, but the family or the house owner has to contribute the other 10 if they wanna go, so if they wanna do that. That'll be their decision. We have the Lawrence County Community Action Partnership, LCAP, does all the servicing of this particular contract. We contract with LCAP for that purpose. So there's a real possibility we can offer them this kind of a program to help them replace their hot water tanks, things like that. So we're waiting for approval first. So once we have that, then we'll approach A1 in that new area and see what happens.
So if they replace their furnace and hot water tank already from the storm, they're not gonna be eligible?
No, they're not. No, I'm not gonna be eligible.
It's not right.
Those two items.
No, we can't live without it.
I'm only telling you what the state requires, that's all I'm asking. We do not have the money to, that we can get the basic people that.
So I think if they already got their hot water tank and things like that, but if other stuff around their house needs fixed up,
Oh, yeah.
that could still
For
break.
instance,
Okay.
I know this happened to me one time, my family. They could say, we want French drains around their house. And with a pump, okay? That's one thing. We can do a lot for them. Weatherization come in and tighten things up. There's a lot, it's gonna cost them money, but it's worth it. And if it's under 20,000, it won't cost them anything over.
That's right, they don't have to pay any of that back.
No,
Right.
it's not saying that.
Would the item that, help me with the name, the item that's kind of seals off the basement from the,
Backflow valve.
would that qualify?
Yeah, the overflow valve.
Yeah.
Yes, that could qualify. And that would be very helpful too. They don't have one.
Some of the
If they do a French
locations.
drain, they'll put the overflow valve inside and with a pump. I'm not the engineer, I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I was at a loss for the name of it as well. I mean, I understand.
Overflow valve.
While we're on this subject, and that's why I wish Mr. Rooney would have been here tonight. I talked to our engineer last week, and and the people on Pennsylvania Avenue, you're here tonight, and you've been very, very patient with us. Most of those catch basins down there are under contract with Mahoney Builders at this point in time. That is what Greg Del Principe told me, and that's what I was hoping Mike would have been here tonight to tell us that their Mahoney Builders will be starting here shortly, repairing a lot of those catch basins and those items that are not working at all down in that area. So I do want you to know that the administration has put that together with the engineering firm, and it was awarded to Mahoney Builders. Now, how soon they're gonna get down there, Greg Del Principe was hoping that they would get there before the end of the month. But he said, Tim, if they're not there by the end of the month, they will be there in September to start working. So that will be resolved hopefully before the winter season kicks in and that, and let's hope that something happens with the Army Corps of Engineers down the road.
And I also wanted to question Mr. Rooney, because I am more curious about the rest of the storm drains that we've been talking about, you know, of where we are with the blockages or breakings this week.
I can't answer
I
this,
understand.
Paul.
I mean, that's what we need to know too.
Well, he's not here.
Figured.
The main problem is the hillside. Let the state come and sleep in our beds at night when it storms, or you know a storm's coming and you're scared to death because you don't know if that hillside's gonna come down and kill you.
Storm drains have nothing to do with it. That's catching the water. The water is coming from the creek when the hillside comes down.
And there are natural springs in the hillside, several of them, that add to the erosion.
Are you saying the Army Corps said nothing about putting any barrier up on that hillside?
Yes, we talked about it, but we have to go through this process first to determine what has to be done.
In the meantime,
That's not our
work
property
away.
across the street. That belongs to someone else, maybe CSX. There has to be some kind of a barrier there to hold that. One side looks like it's gonna fall in anyway. We talked about it, but that's all we can do right now.
The storm drains are causing some problems back towards where my mom's house is, and 2 years ago, that one basin walked around, Mr. Mayor, you did come down and look, it's 2 years ago, and 2 years later, it's still in the same condition, not catching the water and coming into my mother's house. So there's 2 catch basins there, the one by the playground, the one along the alleyway next to the playground. And there's a horse, literally a horse inside the catch basin, and if someone's kid falls in it, they're gonna get killed. We don't want a lawsuit, the city's gonna get a lawsuit because a kid gets killed, because they're gonna fall in that catch basin. You know, I mean, it's bad, and it's been that way for 2 years.
Again, we're not trying to avoid these problems. I think I can't speak for our Public Works Director, I can't. I can only speak of what this council, what we approve and what we don't approve, okay? I sat here with the mayor when the Army Corps of Engineers were here. I thought that the city did a fantastic job of laying out all the damage that was done. We brought it to their attention about the hillside, about the railroad possibly owning it. We brought all that to their attention. But as the mayor stated, as you know, government works like molasses in Alaska in January. It takes forever to get something done. And then, as the mayor said, we're gonna have to come up with some serious cash to pay not only for the study, then also for the work to be done. Now, that doesn't mean that we're avoiding you. I can't do anything, he can't do anything, nobody up here can do anything in a fast forward because of the financial burden that is rest. We don't have that kind of money laying around that we can come out and just help you people. We wish we could. Now, we had, and the reason the Army Corps of Engineers came here is because of our state senator listened to us, and he made the appropriate phone calls and letters, and we got him here. I don't see anybody else coming to our rescue. I really don't. No one.
Sure, not the city, not the state, not the federal, no one.
Well, I think the city's trying its best, ma'am. I really do. I think we are trying our best.
But you get a program with things that are after the fact. I've already put out $12,000, but that's not covered because I had to live in my house and it's been 2 months ago.
And pay taxes on it.
I understand that.
I don't think anybody
I bet
understands.
if we quit paying taxes, they'd be down and catch us in a
Yeah,
hurry.
we'd be in the paper tonight. You know, it's like you're more worried about Carl Street, and I understand it's bad too. But if that hillside goes down again and the creek is high, I mean, like I said to the mayor when we were in his office, if someone is in the backyard, it's in the middle of the day, they're dead. They're down the creek, dead. Are you gonna wait till someone dies here to somebody do something?
You need to push a little harder. I know we appreciate what you're
Studies
doing.
don't do anything.
You need to push a little bit harder. Use a little influence if you got any and push. Because we can't, evidently.
But we're gonna get flooded out again if
You
it
were down there
happens.
when we were there, we talked about it, about Big Run.
Yeah.
You were there.
Yeah, it's my property.
I know it is.
Yeah.
The point is, what do you want us to do?
I'm just
We
saying,
can't-
What do you
reach
want us
out-
to do?
Reach out to
We
more
want you to
state
do anything.
people.
That's
I mean,
my
you're
point.
the officials in the city, running the city.
We're the ones
You
that
need to
vote for
talk
you
to the
guys.
higher officials.
We've talked to the
More.
higher-
You-
we've talked
I'm
to the
just
higher
saying,
officials.
push a little harder is all I'm saying. Push a little
Fair
harder.
enough.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll try. We will try.
Well, we just won't pay our taxes this year, and then we'll say, we'll put it against the $12,000 I put into my house. How's that? Will that work?
That's
Do I
your
get up to
choice.
$12,000?
And you won't qualify for this program. So,
No.
Look.
Well, we
that's
don't
your choice.
qualify now, hey, we won't get our
Sure,
money
sir, I
back.
think you're misunderstanding. I know you spent the money to
Yeah, why
replace the
should we
product.
get that money
but
back?
you would
We already
still be,
spent it.
so
That's
that's
what I'm
just how,
saying.
I understand it, but that's not on us, that's just how the government does that. We can push all we want, but we can't tell them to give you the $12,000 that you already spent. I'm saying you would still be eligible for up to $20,000 if there's any more repairs that need to be made to your house.
Yeah, 30-foot wall.
I understand. I mean, I told you guys last time, I'm not gonna sit up here and understand and act like I understand your fear and your anxiety, because I don't. And, you know, and we are trying, and I am, yeah, am I disappointed? I thought the Army Corps of Engineers would have,
Yeah, I
No.
thought they were a little bit smarter
I thought
than
they'd have
that,
done more,
except the
but,
study.
you know.
What do you want to do with a study? You can do a study and it could last for years.
if you're asking us to push, we'll push harder. But
Thank you.
you know, it's big government, and we're Newcastle, but
We've been lucky, it hasn't really rained bad, but you can see, we're gonna start taking pictures of that hillside once a month. So that you can see all the changes that's in it. I mean, there's a lot more now that there's little ruts going down and the thing at the bottom fell down.
It's cracking.
I mean, it's just going to go if it gets wet again and the creek is high, and every time it rains hard and long, the creek gets high. It goes up fast, it goes down fast. But if the hillside is wet and it goes down, we're sunk again.
Anything else? No. We're gonna go to an executive session now to talk about personnel.
Hey, yeah, I wanna know who's fixing